Okay, let's start render to texture. Start this exercise. Yeah, 43 render to texture. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. Source game window. Yeah, I don't think I'll be needing. Right, create blank. Okay, pixel format this. Okay, so we are adding access. Alright, render target, and then we create a blank texture. So we are not going to be using data stream, and I won't be needing this as well. Okay. Okay, so let's open everything in the source. Right, section of debug, texture. Okay, I think I should really like this. Go with pixel accessories, right? Pixel accessories. Okay. Rendering functions. Map RGB. Can I go? Okay, first I would have to generate tags file. Yes. Okay, pixel. So then the things are treated in the format of internal SQL surface. We have some set functions. Get functions and load functions. And these are create functions, deallocation function. Better. Right. Can I do this here? No, there's not much. Yeah. Okay. Let's go like arrange this here. Well, I won't be needing window. Let's get rid of this and this. Right. Okay. Let's save this workspace here. Render to texture. Okay. Okay. Then what do I want to do is start here. Right. So for some effects, being able to render scene to a texture is needed. Here we will be rendering a scene to a texture and achieve a spinning scene effect. Okay. So we are adding this STL texture access to the function, and then what else do I have? Okay. And I think that is all right. Get pixel 32 unlock. Yeah, and a function to set surface render target. So I'm adding this parameter stl underscore set texture access. Okay. Sorry, create blank. Within the create blank function, I have to define how does texture underscore create works. Create. Oh, okay, great. Okay, so then I will stl texture access. I think that is it. stl underscore texture access. Access. Okay. And one little change. Now let's us define the access type. Okay, then we have then I will be creating a texture. This is set as render target. So set as render target. I think I'll be needing the window too, but keep it there. And okay, here we are adding more functionality to the texture class. The create blank function now takes in another argument that defines how it is accessed. We also have set as render target function, which makes it so we can render to this texture. Okay. Allows us to render the scene to the texture. Then create blank within the access. We create with the access. Okay. So there we go. Create blank. Texture access. Okay, here I'm just going to pass in access. Now we can explicitly define the access type, and that is all. Okay. When we want to render texture, we need to set it as we want to set its texture access to stl underscore texture access target, which is why this function takes an additional argument now. Okay, here we go. stl texture access target to render to a texture. And what was it previously? Still texture access. I think hold up. Still to wiki. API by category here. Right. Okay, so functions. No, not functions. I think enumerations. stl texture access. There we go. Static streaming. Yes, streaming. Target. We should render target. Changes frequently lockable. Changes rarely not lockable. Okay. Texture access streaming to lock and stream to a texture. Right, so there we go. Let me bring it here. Right, which is why this function takes an additional argument now. So then I have set texture of target. Okay, so we go stl underscore set render target. We provide the renderer and the texture. Okay, so there we go. I also need the window. Alright. Let me define the new function here. This is the void, right? Okay, void. Okay. Set itself as the render target. So void texture set as render target. And we have make self render. Make itself the render target. So still set render target. We provide in the renderer and the texture. Okay. So to render a texture, we have to set it as the render target, which is done here using a call to STL. Okay, now we load media. In the load media, I create a blank texture with texture target. Okay. So if load media set target, I want to create it as the same screen width and screen height. Yes, screen width and screen height, and then I want to define I want to give it the flag, which is stl texture access target. Right. So target, and it will check it. Right. Okay. Then we create a target texture in the media loading function. Right. Okay. Then we start the rotation variables. So I'll go verify, update. Okay, I want a double angle 0, a screen center. Okay, we will revolve around the screen center. Okay, so I have rotation angle 0, then a screen center. Right. Then okay, green outlined, clear screen, set itself as the render target. Okay, then I have texture render and I'm flipping it to screen center. Oh, okay. So I'm creating a variable big enough to fit the whole screen, and then I will clip it. Okay, rotation variable. So, we don't need that. Nope. Okay, streaming texture. Instead of streaming texture, I'm going to create a target texture this time. Target texture, then rotation variable, double angle is 0.0, and then I'm creating a STL rect, which is it's called screen center. Screen center equals I have to give it x and y coordinates, right? Okay, so I'm just giving it x and y. Okay, STL point. Okay, so I'm defining a STL point. Hey, screen center, angle and a point. Okay, around a point. I think render x, right? I taken a point which is the center. Right. Okay, angle and a center, and render flip, which will be STL render flip, which will be flip none. Okay. Okay, so it does revolve around a center. Okay, so we can give it a point. So this will be our center point. Rotation variable point. Screen center, and just giving it 2 points. Screen width by 2. Screen height by 2. Okay. That is all right. Right. So this demo will render some geometry to a texture and spin the texture around the center of the screen. This is why we have a variable for angle of rotation and center of screen. Okay. Then we update, rotate. Okay. Then we go rotate. So I'll go angle plus equals 0, and if angle equals 360, we'll simply set angle equals 0. Right. Okay, so okay, then it will flip. Okay, if angle increases, then it will be 0. Oh, okay. Angle increases, then we set angle minus 360. So it will like just get back. It is equivalent of setting it to 0. Okay, so then first set the, okay, I haven't even created the texture, have I? Right, I've created the texture, right? Stream, there's no stream. We go target texture, then I create it here, target texture. We don't need the stream window, then we update it. Okay, the texture as render target. Texture set as render target, target texture, though I should check not be null. Valid texture, texture of texture should not be null. Error. No texture loaded. false. Okay, right. I should check these, and I should check. Window should not be valid window. Okay. This shit hard. Right, so I have this, so I set self as render target. Okay. So we, before clearing the screen, set the texture as render target. Okay. Clear screen, and we render red filled quad, and render red filled quad. I still rect, right? Fill rect this is position, this is width. Okay. XY width. Then I have render draw color this and a fill rect with okay, set render draw color, right? Okay. So I declare here rect called fill rect equals position screen width divided by 4. Screen height divided by 4. Screen width, these are the width and height. Then I set the target by SCL set render draw color renderer. I want the red. Okay. Then I want to STL render draw rect. Okay, render fill rect and fill rect. We pass in the renderer. We pass in the renderer and we pass in the fill rect. Right, render and the fill rect. Render green outlined quad and green outlined quad. Then we have outline correct. Right. Okay. So this is above this and 2/3 the side. Okay. Screen width divided by 6. Screen height divided by 6. Screen width times 2 by 3. Screen height times 2 by 3. Okay. SCL set render draw color green, right? Renderer, sorry, RGB. SCL render draw rect. I'm pretty sure this is the function, right? Yeah. So render and outline Right. We want draw blue horizontal line. Draw color this. Draw line. Okay. I have to look into this function. Line. Oh, okay. Go with draw line. Okay, so xy and x2 y2. Okay, obviously need 2 points to draw a line. So we okay, so 0 comma screen height by 2, and next point is screen width and screen height by 2. Okay, so this is a horizontal line, right? Sorry, a vertical line. 0 and screen height by 2 here and a vertical line. Okay, horizontal line. Okay, right. I was right the first time before. 0 and then screen height. 0. Okay, 0 in the x and screen height. Okay, right. Draw blue horizontal line. Okay, draw blue horizontal line. So this STL set render draw color renderer 0 0 255 255 STL render draw line. STL render draw line. We pass in the renderer and we pass in the points 0 and then half of screen width, screen height by 2, then up to the end point which is screen width, and screen height by width is around height by 2. Okay, then draw a vertical line of yellow dots. Okay, so I'm drawing a point with x comma y. Okay, so this screen width by 2 is here, and then we are just coming down with the of 4. Okay, draw. Okay, so red and blue are enabled. Sorry, red and green. Draw vertical line of yellow dots. Okay. Draw vertical line of yellow dots. So STL set render draw color renderer. Okay, and I equals 0, I less than screen height, and I go I plus STL render draw point. We go renderer, and then I want x and y points, right? So screen width by 2 and I, and then we reset render target. Okay, up till this point all the data has been rendered to the texture. Now we reset the render target so that we can render our texture to the screen with the help of the renderer. Okay, so we go now. We set the render target. So STL set render target, right? Set render target, render and null. We set the render target to default. It can be show rendered, show the render, okay, show the rendered texture. So texture render x, right? Okay, I need a texture, a window, x and y points. Okay, so I need a texture which is my target texture, a window, x and y points are 0, 0. Then we are okay, render target x, STL rect clip. I'm not giving any clip, I'm giving the angle. Okay, so I'm not giving any clip, I'm going the angle. Yes, angle is here, point is screen center. Then what else do I need? An STL render flip. I think it was STL render flip none. Let me go take a look at this is flip, STL renderer flip. So STL underscore flip none. Okay. Screen, and then after the center the flip. So STL flip none. Okay, and I hope this works. Yep. So in a main loop, before we do any rendering, we set the target texture as a target. We then render a scene full of geometry, and once we're done rendering to a texture, we call STL render target with null. So any rendering done after will be done to the screen. Okay. Default, that is the screen. Okay. With the scene rendered to a texture, we then render the target texture to the screen at a rotated angle. Okay, let me try and make it. Set as render target, too few arguments. Yes, sorry. Set as render target, I also have to provide in the window. Okay, screen height. Alright, stream. I have some problems. Okay, texture destroy. Okay, game.c. First of all, I have to take care of the destroying streams. Okay, streaming texture, no streaming texture, target texture. Okay, then stream undeclared. Yes, streaming texture not equal to streaming. Game.c 68. There is nothing there. Game.c 6815. Yep. There we go. Target texture. Right. and screen height 133. Screen height height height. Screen height undeclared. Now screen height in function window render. Screen height is undeclared. Seriously, dude. Screen underscore height. Right. I have declared it. 135. Screen height. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Nice. There we go. Great. Okay. So that ends that.